Welcome to our 118th plunge into the Groan Zone. Training 42 scenes have helped keep my groans to the point. This episode is another long one with all usual suspects, but Admin Nicole once again has found out facts about special days. The last one though, it's wordily longer than an elephant's trunk. We'll be covering lots of special days that fell during or on this week, as well as jamming all the content in we are known for into the episode. Your games this week are Gimme the Question, Double Down Dummies, and Who the Hell Am I? Your audience groan rolls in from G. Chantertwons. Did I get that right? No, sorry G. From G. Chantertwons of Preston via Facebook Messenger. Kicking the show off is Admin Nicole with her first fact of the episode. Burns Night. This is the time to enjoy Scottish traditions and celebrate the renowned poet Robert aka Robbie Burns with a classic combination of haggis, neeps, tatties, and sometimes a warming dram, aka a drop of the hard stuff. The night is often accompanied by entertaining recitals of some of Robert Burns' famous work. Is There for Honest Poverty, also known as A Man for That, was chosen to open the new Scottish Parliament in 1999 through its themes of equality and universal brotherhood. American fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger also claims to be a direct descendant of Robert Burns. Is he? That could be another fact. I honestly don't know. Taking us directly into the groany flow, also now, is your guide, me. Who we expecting? The Grinch? My groans are ready. Here we go. People who stand gassing or talking, blocking open doorways and shopping aisles. They look at you when you try to get by and can't understand that they are in the wrong. Move aside, you Burke. I'm not going to play leapfrog or find myself asking you 16 million times to excuse me. This isn't Lord of the Rings. Yes, I shall pass. When your drink gets messed up, how many times has anyone been in this situation? You order a drink, it could be alcohol or non-alcoholic, and they put enough ice in to sink another Titanic. If I wanted water, I'd ask for it. I remember watching a barman make a cocktail for me once, and he forgot to put the alcohol in. Attention nil, style nil. When good bars and clubs, etc., close permanently. This is so sad, and they're replaced by trendy, I use the term very loosely, crap places that rip you off with their pricing. Can't we just have decent places that are cheap to hang out now? Also clubs, update your opening times online. I tried to get into one earlier on this week, and that said open, only to find all the lights on, but the door's shut. Where's the logic? I imagine those groans will probably age like Red Bull and milk, aka not very well. However, curdling along now, we find ourselves barreling into another fact. Seolal. Seolal is a cultural holiday, which we've raised before on the podcast, which has its roots in traditional Chinese Confucianism and is celebrated on the first day of the Korean lunar calendar. It usually lasts 3 days, the day before Korean New Year, Korean New Year itself, and the day after Korean New Year. Seolal first became a major Korean holiday during the reign of the Goryeo dynasty around 918 AD. Koreans believe that their ancestors visit them on Seolal, so they prepare special food to pay tribute to their ancestors and call this practice Charye, which is Charye. More facts to come later, and I'm sure more words to bamboozle me. Of this I am positive. Let's hear it up with the first game of the show, which is... But first off, Groaners Live, are you ready? Yes, they are. They're flying and they're ready. Groan at home? Of course. You're ready. You're here. So you must be. Give me the question. Here we go. Round 1. Your answer is Genghis Khan. Your questions are: A. Which person is 1 in every 200 men a descendant of? B. Who was supposed to guest appear in the film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they went to hell? Or C, who invaded Mongolia to take power? Groaners Live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do by now. We've got C's flying in across the board. A's coming in now as well. We have splits coming in across the board there. C's and A's. Forget that, I lied. More B's coming in. Wipe down across the board. C's, A's and B's. Are we ready to move on? Any more? Oh, another B there. And a C. Okay, I hear you, Groaners. I hear you. Round 2. Your answer is FEMA. That's F-E-M-A. Your questions are: which American agency is responsible for the sanitary departments in hospitals? B. Which American agency uses the open or closed status of waffle houses to judge the effect of a storm? Or C. Which American agency uses Facebook profiles to look for models? Groaners Live, same as before, you know what to do. Those at home, you know what to do. We've got C's flying in there. C's, 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 loads of C's coming in there across the board. Any more Groaners? Nope, everyone has gone straight in for C there. Moving on, final round, round 3. Your answer is red meat. Your questions are A. What might you become allergic to if the Lone Star tick bites you? B. What meat causes colour blindness in some pregnancies? Or C. What can be used uncooked to help towards creating red hair dye? Groaners Live, same as before. Those at home, you know what to do. We've got C's coming in there. A's coming in. More A's coming in. Someone wrote a B there and then they erased it and they've gone for a C as well. So we have a split there, Groaners. Yep. A's and C's coming in there. Any more? Give you a couple of seconds. Nope. That's your time, Groaners. We're finished there. The correct questions will be unveiled at the end of the show. As with all questions, sometimes we must ask why. So this is no different now as we ask, why oh why? We live in a technological age which gives us a lot of advantages. But like every coin, there is another side. Now, probably many of you out there, Groaners, probably many of you are women. And say you get a message from Brad Pitt, of all people, and he claims to be out of money after the divorce from Angelina Jolie and needs money for cancer treatment. Wouldn't alarm bells ring just a little bit? I know if Scarlett Johansson or Sarah Michelle Gellar contacted me asking for money, I'd most likely string them along, then laugh at the scammers who blatantly use AI to make pretty convincing fakes. Use your head, people out there. If a celeb contacts you out of the blue and wants to commit to a relationship with you, then ask for money, block it and report it. Get wise. Don't let them play on your gullibility or lack of technological expertise. Falling for these scams and doing the scams in general, I must ask, why oh why? Admin Nicole is a double take on the floor now with Creepy Corner and another fact straight afterwards. Your story for Creepy Corner this week is Separate Paths. The old man had a plan, one that was very reliant on whoever would be foolish enough to enter Graves Park during the Ghost Parade. Little did he know that it would end up being Valencia and Viola. There was much to do. The list just kept on growing. Danger mounted on them, piling up one after the other. However, unlike the good old days, the girls couldn't follow him this time. They had their own mission, which meant they would be split from one another once again. We need to free the Tooth Fairies. Marianne is with Coco and Dread, teaching Gaia her powers. The Reaper has probably started the official parade by now, and then he will go find Death, Valencia explained. The old man smiled as he gathered all his souls in the inner ring that would follow him. Together, they would infiltrate Death's inner sanctum and find that rat. There was no telling what that single rat was capable of, but it was clear to him at least that it had to be Lionel's doing. Something that still stabbed at his heart. Someone that the old man once thought that was an innocent child, he was merely trying to help, ended up being one of his greatest enemies. However, what the girls didn't know was just how much the old man needed them. Grace Park was at its most vulnerable during the Ghost Parade. Most understood that it meant the line between the living and the dead was at its thinnest, which made this the most dangerous night to be in Graves Park. What many did not know, however, was that the souls inside Graves Park can easily be let out. The doors that separate the rings and lead to the exit can only be opened by the living. It was one of the many precautions Death took in order to make sure no one could ever leave. Valencia was ready to open the door and set them free, but Viola couldn't help but wonder how many of those souls belonged in there. A problem for another day, Valencia thought, as she wasted no time in opening the door. She may not have trusted the souls who were ready to kill them not too long ago, but she trusted the old man. To her, he would always be the only parent she ever had and ever needed. No matter what he asked of her, she would do it without hesitation. They had to walk to the other side of the outer ring in order to reach the exit, but the souls here didn't bother them, especially not with the souls following the old man. Valencia and Viola may have been the first to reach the other side of Graves Park in a very long while. The many souls left behind still lingered in Valencia's mind, but she couldn't think about that right now. There wasn't anything she could do for them right now, but one day she would save them all. The old man hugged them both and promised they would meet again. Sometimes to win a war, you have to split up as much as possible to get the highest chance of success. However, the old man knew the man he saw was himself. He didn't know how or why, but he knew that the vision of him did something and failed. Was knowing too much the problem, or was it something more? He warned him about not being too late, but too late for what? He could only hope he would figure it out as he went. An army of souls trying to sneak into the inner center of death itself. Hopefully the Reapers wouldn't know any different. As for Valencia and Viola, thankfully for them, the walk to the realm of the Tooth Fairies was short. So short, in fact, that they could still see the old man walking in the opposite direction with all those other souls by his side. They stood in front of a single moss-covered rock. It was nothing special, just a rock surrounded by other rocks, but this was covered in moss. Valencia had to ask Viola if they had the right place. It was just an empty field with nothing but rocks. It was sort of anticlimactic in a way. She expected something a bit more extravagant for Tooth Fairies. Viola was sure that this was the way in. All she had to do was place a single tooth on the rock for it to open the way. Luckily for her, she had gained a habit of collecting any loose teeth she came across, especially given the alternative was pulling out one of her own. The ground opened up and swallowed them whole, landing them right in the middle of the Tooth Fairies' realm. It wasn't quite the welcome they expected though. As a result of Valencia no longer being a Tooth Fairy, it turned out that made her seen as somewhat of a traitor. So the Tooth Fairies had no interest in what they had to say and immediately locked them both up. Viola trying to explain what happened didn't do them any good either. So explaining the truth was no longer an option. Now they had to break out of this dungeon. They heard some of the Tooth Fairies talking about a relic room, so whatever they had to find must be in there. Viola was fast running out of time, so they had to hurry and hope whatever they were looking for would work. Interesting times ahead. Will the girls get things sorted? And what bigger things come into play? More Creepy Corner next week. Straight over to the next fact about Australia Day. This day honours the establishment of the first permanent European settlement on the continent of Australia. On the 26th of January 1788, Arthur Phillip, who had sailed onto what is now Sydney Cove with a shipload of convicts, hoisted the British flag at the site. Baba Bianga, that's Barabianga, in the words of the ancient Ora people, these are the precious moments before the first rays of light paint the shores of our island home. Dawn reflection is a quiet time to recall Australia's unfolding story told in many voices across countless generations. In the soft light before sunrise, a beautiful piece of Aboriginal art will illuminate the sails of the Sydney Opera House, reflecting in the waters of their timeless harbour. Woogalora means one mob in the local Gadigal language, and it represents all of Australia and its future. It is a time for reflection, understanding, and reconciliation as we gather as a nation proudly anchored by timeless rituals and beliefs. Further facts will be abound later. It is now time for the audience groan. Chantertwons, the floor is yours, and I'm sorry if I keep getting your surname wrong. I can't stand people pointing really aggressively at me and talking angrily, so I copy them, which makes them look like an idiot. A brief one there, G, but you've got a good point, no pun intended. Thanks for the groan. If you want to send your groans in, give us your why, your whys, your lucky or unlucky stories, your feedback, or any other content you want to see in the show, you can contact myself or Admin Nicole under Facebook Messenger, which is me, Mystery Groaner, or Nicole Amos, which is Admin Nicole. You can find the Facebook group, which is the Groan Zone Podcast Facebook group. You can find us on Discord, which is the Groan Zone Podcast, where we record the podcast usually every Friday, 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time in the evening. And lastly, well, almost lastly I should say, if you would drop an email in, you can fire it off to thegroanzonepod@gmail.com, and of course, drop a comment on any episode and it'll be reviewed and picked up for further use in any one of the further episodes. As I've always said, you need luck to crack the games on this show, but this next idiot is definitely unlucky. So our unlucky this week goes out to the wannabe arsonist caught in LA earlier this month. Why was he unlucky? Well, he was caught in the act of actively lighting fires. He probably would have protested his innocence, but he was carrying a blowtorch on his person. Even though we have a zero of the week, which will be coming later, I cannot let this pass without giving him the same status. You absolute pelican. Let's have some fun now with Double Down Dummies. Groaners live, clearly you're ready again. Groaner at home, if you're still listening, Groaner at home, you're ready too. Round 1. This occurred on 26th of August 2006 in Leicester, England. A 33-year-old man called Darren was found slumped over, bleeding out from stab wounds, but what exactly happened that led to him dying in that same hallway after calling for an ambulance? It should be noted that the knife used was his own blade. Was it A random attacker broke in and after a very loud vocal fight, Darren lost the fight and was stabbed multiple times? Or was it B, a jilted ex-girlfriend to take revenge and after luring Darren into the hallway, she stabbed him many times? Or was it C, Darren was of sound mind, yet his wife remembered Darren asking her if his jacket was stab-proof before she went on holiday? The jacket failed him. Go Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. C's are flying in across the board there. More C's, more C's, more C's. An A there, more C's. Okay, I hear you loud and clear, Groaners live. Groaner at home, what did you go for? Round 2. This occurred in Serbia on 19th of August 2006. It's a fact that alcohol plays a part in many deaths, but our unnamed 23-year-old man takes the cake when performing stupidity that ends in death. What drink-fueled dumbness led to his death? Was it A, he stripped bare bum naked and started dancing along a railway line? Unfortunately, his dance partner was a train and only knew the locomotion dance, thereby mowing him down. Was it B, he stripped naked and paraded himself in front of 2 bears after finding his way into their enclosure? They didn't welcome the intrusion and ate him. Or was it C, he stripped naked and tried to outrun cars on the motorway? He made it across 2 lanes before lane number 3 flattened him. Go Groaners live, answers please. Those at home, you know what to do. A's are flying in there. B's are flying in there. Is that another split, Groaners? We've got more B's coming in. More A's coming in. Yep, indeed, we have another split. And apologies if the volume has gone up on this. I've just adjusted my angle, so it might be a bit out of balance when you're listening, Groaners. My apologies. The answers will come later in the show, I promise. Now, no episode will be complete without picking a legend or an idiot for the week. We name our zero of the week now, which is parasite scams, or those that perform parasite scams. And this falls to companies such as Honey, not Love Honey, that's like an adult thing we cannot mention on the show. What is Honey? Well, it's something that is set to search for coupons for you to get things cheaper. A lot of big YouTubers, such as Markiplier, have raised concerns about it because it steals from creators using affiliate links. So you could say Honey is a leech, a parasite if you will, that feeds off ill-gotten gains. Honey isn't just scamming the people who use it, it's stealing money from the YouTubers they trick into taking a sponsorship. Honey isn't saving anyone money, it's not even giving them the best discounts. It's operating on its own goals, and PayPal knew this when they bought them. Markiplier made clear in 2020 that he knew something was off. It's why he never took that deal. As he said, saving you all that money, but where exactly is the money coming from? Legal Eagle is a lawyer-based YouTube channel who's filing a class action lawsuit to stop Honey from doing what it does. Honey, you are the zero of the week for your shady dealings. Nearing the end of the show now, we have the final and longest fact from Admin Nicole. Chinese New Year, a story that is over 3,500 years old and has been told many times and has taken on a life of its own. The centuries-old legend of the origin of the Chinese New Year celebration includes a story of a terrible mythical monster preying on villagers. The lion-like monster's name was Nian, which is also the Chinese word for year. The stories include a wise old man who counsels the villagers to ward off the evil Nian by making loud noises with drums and firecrackers and by hanging red paper cutouts and scrolls on their doors because Nian is scared of the colour red. So the villagers took the old man's advice and Nian was conquered. On the anniversary of the date, the Chinese recognise the passing of the Nian, known as in Chinese as Gionan, which is synonymous with celebrating the New Year. The date of Chinese New Year changes each year because it's based on the lunar calendar, while the Western Gregorian calendar is based on the Earth's orbit around the Sun. The date of the Chinese New Year is determined according to the moon's orbit around the Earth. Chinese New Year falls on the second new moon after the winter solstice. We've mentioned this before on the podcast as well. I believe it's in one of the games. Chinese New Year has enjoyed a history of about 3,500 years. Its exact beginning is not recorded. Some people believe that Chinese New Year originated in the Shang Dynasty 1600 to 1046 BC, when people held sacrificial ceremonies in honour of gods and ancestors at the beginning of the end of each year. Whew! That was a mouthful there, Nicole. Wow. From facts, we must give in and reveal the game answers. Good luck to you all. I know Gaving's right answer from last week, and I was really baffled by this one and was scratching my head for ages. I didn't get it. It was Stanislav Petrov. Double Down Dummies. Round 1. Your correct outcome was C. Darren was of sound mind, yet his wife remembered Darren asking her if his jacket was stab-proof before she went on holiday. The jacket failed him. He stabbed himself numerous times to see the jacket let the blade in. Common sense would dictate to you if one stab gets in, the jacket is worthless. Round 2. What drink for your dumbness led to the man's death? It was B. He stripped naked and paraded himself in front of 2 bears after finding his way into their enclosure. They did not welcome the intrusion and ate him. Masha and Misha at the Belgrade Zoo totally destroyed him, and the zoo director said only an idiot would jump into the bear cage. Never a truer word spoken there. Give me the question. Round 1. Your answer was Genghis Khan. Your correct question was A. Which person is 1 in every 200 men a descendant of? Round 2. Your answer was FEMA. Your correct question was B. Which American agency uses the open or closed status of waffle houses to judge the effect of a storm? Waffle houses are quite popular over in America. Round 3. Your answer was red meat. Your correct question was A. What might you become allergic to if the Lone Star tick bites you? Did anyone score points? Did you at home get points? If so, well done. Our final game for this week is Who the Hell Am I? Your clue is, I died in The Walking Dead and played Glenn. Good luck if you've never watched The Walking Dead. The answer will come next week. The picture will only be available on Podbean. We will also put it up on the Facebook group and the Discord group. Thanks for tuning in, Groaners. We will return next week. Apologies again if I murdered any foreign words. Take care. Bye-bye. Chinese New Year. A story that is over God, I need to learn to read numbers. The date of Chinese New Year changes every year. Start that again. The date of the Chinese New